Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I am so excited about the video for today. I want you to see how cute and adorable these little bunnies are. They are made completely in the hoop. Let me show you. Got little detailing down here on the dress if you don't want to make the skirt. They've got detailing right here if you don't want to make them. This design is by Pixie Willow. I will link it down below. This one I put the year in the ear. Look how adorable, sweet these are. These are really cute. Now, I did do a little something different than what the designer did. Okay, see on this one, I like my ears to stand up and be stiff instead of floppy. See, I didn't want my ears to be all flopping around and all. So what I did was I took on the back of, in the PDF that you get with your design, it tells you what size to cut everything, and then it says to label it. So the back of my D piece is, this piece is on the inside of the ears. So it's, this piece is the D piece. I took a piece of medium weight stabilizer, interfacing, whatever, and I ironed it onto the back of my D piece. Let me take this off so I can press it on there. You want to put the rough side. I don't know if you can see, there's a rough side to it, and then there's a smooth side. So you want to put the rough side up, and then put the wrong side of your fabric on the glue dots, the little rough side. And then just iron this down on top of it. Doesn't take much, just a little bit. And I like to flip it over and just press it and make sure it's good and adhered. Okay, so this is our piece D. The pieces are labeled A through J. So they have a little boy design. Look how adorable he is. I used the blue plaid for him. They're super cute. Now the only difference in between the girl one and the boy one is this piece of fabric right here. This little piece. See, the girl has her dress coming up to her, like the end of her chin here. And the little boy has skin where his chest is. I am using, my bunny pieces are linen. This is what I'm using for the body part of the bunny. And then I just have regular woven cotton for the dress piece, the bottom piece on his overalls. I'm going to put little buttons right here, I think, on his overalls. I think that'll be cute. You could use fleece, you could use flannel, you can pretty much use anything. I just prefer something with a stretch when I'm making these in the hoop things that you have to stuff, because they kind of stretch around your stuffing. So these bunnies are made completely in the hoop, but they are, however, done in two hoopings. So in the first hooping, we're going to do the ears, the arms, and her little feet. And then we're going to hoop again, and we're going to do the body and assemble everything together. Again, I just think these are really cute. They will make really cute Easter basket decorations, or just to give to kids to play. Look how cute that face is. Just set around decoration, or even give to children to play. I really think these are the cutest things in the world. Okay, so let's head over to the machine. I have one piece of tearaway hooped into my 6x10 hoop. Oh, also the Pixie Willow, these designs come in 3 different sizes. So they come in 5x7, 6x10, and 7x12 or 7x11. I'm not real sure on that size. We're going to do the 6x10. These are the 6x10 size bunnies, and they're fairly large. Let's see how big they are. From the bottom of their feet to the tip of their ears, It's like 14¼ inches maybe. So 14 inches, that's really good. So let's head over to the machine. Okay, here we are at the machine, and I have the design for the ears, the legs, and the hands and arms loaded into the machine. I have my 6x10 hoop. I have one piece of tearaway stabilizer. As you can see here, it takes 5 minutes, and it's only 2,800 stitches. So this part goes really quick. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the die line down straight onto the tearaway stabilizer. I'm going to give you a little tip here. If you use a thread color that blends in with your background fabric, that this matches my linen pretty close. It's like a natural nude kind of skin tone color. When you flip your ears or your arms or hands out, sometimes you'll see that thread. So you don't want to use purple or pink or orange or whatever. You want to use a color that blends so that you don't see it when you flip your ears. Okay, so we're going to attach everything to it, and now we're going to run the first step on the stabilizer. Okay, so now what you want to take is your piece C and your piece D, and that's the one that we put the medium weight interfacing on the back of. And take your tags off. So we're starting with C and D. I'm going to put the right side of my linen. Let me get over here. I'm going to put the right side of my linen down. And I'm going to cover up just the ear pieces, the two ear pieces. And then I'm going to take the fabric piece and put it right side down, kind of making the front and the back pieces of the ears. Now if you wanted to put the ear, you would only put the fabric piece down first, embroider the year that you want, or the name, or anything like that, and then run this step. I'm just making sure that I've got everything covered with the two steps. I mean with the two fabrics. Now I'm going to run this step. See, so what it's doing is this file right here is going to do the ears. Okay, so now we're going to do the bottom leg pieces, and we're going to use piece E and F, and we're going to put them over them placement stitches. Tape off that I've got them labeled on. I'm going to put them pretty side to pretty side, right side, whatever you call it, and I'm going to make sure I cover both of the leg pieces. You really want to be pretty precise on this, so you want to make sure and check again, and then check again, and make sure you have all the pieces where you want them at. And I think that's good. So now we're going to run step number 3. Okay, the next step is a little different, and this is the arm. See there, the arms and the legs. There you go. And that's the two that's down the side on the right. So 2 placement lines down there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay piece G down. We're going to take piece G and hold on, we may need to, any of this that's laying over this, we don't want to catch it. So if we'll just give it a little trim until it's outside of the placement. I'm going to trim this little corner a little bit. We don't want to get that caught in the arm and the hands. Okay, so now I'm going to take piece G, only piece G, or piece H, I'm sorry. Wait, no, this is G here. They're the exact same size, and I'm going to lay them over this placement right here. And what we're going to do is, while we're only putting this piece down, is we've got to put our little fingers. Okay, so we're going to take this piece down. Okay, now what it's going to do is put its little fingers in. I want mine black, so I'm going to change my thread color to black, and then I'm going to run them. Okay, I have my thread turned back to the light beige. We're going to take piece H and lay it pretty side down on top of these, just over the arms. So let's make sure it's laying nice and smooth, and then we're going to run the outside stitch. Alright guys, we got all of our parts stuffed, and now we're back on the machine. I have my 6x10 hoop, one piece of tearaway stabilizer, and I have the body part of the bunny loaded into the machine. So the first thing it's going to do is a tack down stitch right on our stabilizer, and that's going to tack the head piece down. Step number 2 is we're going to take piece B and we're going to put it right side up over the placement line of the head that it just did. I've changed my thread to pink so that we can do the little cheek pieces. I've changed my thread to black so that I can do the little nose. Now I leave my thread black and do the whiskers and the eyes. I have changed my thread back to the light beige, and it's going to do this line right here. What that line is it's going to attach her dress piece to her headpiece right there. So right here we're going to lay piece A pretty side down. And you want the longest piece. The sizes are in the PDF, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to give them to you, so just one size longer than the other. So just kind of center that in your hoop. I've lined it up with the the edge of my linen, my body piece, like that. And I'm going to run step number 6. Okay, it is stitched. Stitch that line right there. Step number 7, I'm going to skip. I'm not quite sure what it does. Now we're going to pull this piece down. It's going to be the bottom of her dress. I'm going to give it a little finger pressing. Make sure everything's laying nice and flat. And it's going to come down and it's going to do the dress piece at the bottom. I still have my light beige thread in. Okay, now what it's going to do is some detailing right here on her dress. And it's going to do these detailing at the bottom of her body piece. It's done the detailing down there. And now what it's going to do is these 2 lines at the bottom down there by the detail it just did. It's going to do 2 little satin stitches. If you have been going along with me, you will know that there's 2 pieces left. There's J and I. While that's working over there, I'm going to sew these 2 pieces together on my regular sewing machine. So you want this piece to be long way here, and you're going to flip this one over pretty side to it and kind of center it. There we go. Kind of center it in between. And what this is the back of its head and the back of its dress. So we're going to sew them together with a 1/4 inch seam. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to take our earpiece and we're going to fold these in thirds. This bottom piece in thirds. So we're going to fold it in a little bit, and we're going to fold this piece in a little bit until it looks like, see if I can get my fat finger out of the way, until it looks like that at the bottom. And where you want to sew at is where your thread stops sewing. So if you pull this open, let's use Jack. So if you pull this open right here, see my thread starts right here. So I'm going to sew right across here just to tack these down. Wait, I'm going to switch feet. I can do this one-handed. Okay, so now I'm going to see again where he starts at. Thread starts right there, so I'm going to sew right across there. that's what it looks like. And I'm going to do that for the other ear. I'm going to pull this side in about a third. Pull this other side in about a third. The embroidery has stopped, so I'm going to hurriedly do this. And let's see where my thread starts right here. Can you see that? So my thread where the machine stopped sewing is right there, so that's where I'm going to sew across. So this is what my ears look like. Can you see them? Can you see them? There you go. So that's what my ears look like now. Probably going to poke out this corner a little bit more so my ear is more pointy on that one. And what I'm going to do is take a needle and just reach in there and pull it out. So we got a nice point on it like that. Got a thread. Turn that thread off. So that's what my ears look like. I've sewed across the bottom of them, and I've taken these pieces here. Okay, there's the pretty detailing at the bottom of her dress. And now what it's going to do is these placement lines for the arms, the legs, and the ears. Okay, so now it's done the placement lines for the arms, the legs, and the ears. They're way up there. So now what I've done is I've laid my parts out, my arms, made sure that this is the right arm that goes on the left and this is the arm that goes on the right. And I made sure that these feet, you know, you don't want them to be bow-legged like that, so you want them the way they're supposed to be. So kind of just lay them down like that. So this is where my bunny is going to come together. I'm going to switch cameras so I can have both hands. Okay, so now what it's going to do, we're going to take our arm. It's going to sew this one down first. So we're going to flip it in. Anything you want to keep on your bunny, you need to make sure it's on the inside of your bunny. And I'm going to look and make sure that where the thread stops sewing for the other one, see how there's a little opening there? I'm going to make sure that's past this line. So I want my bunny hand to be like this. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put it right on that line and stitch it down. Being careful not to catch your finger. And then I pull it out and I make sure it's caught the way I want it. Everything looks good. I don't have any open pieces. I made sure it caught where it needed to catch. Now it's going to come to this foot. I'm going to do the same thing and make sure my foot is how I want it to be. I'm going to look where it quits sewing at these pieces right here. I'm going to line this part with the bottom and I'm going to flip it up. I'm going to line it up like this. If you don't want your fingers this close to your machine, please tape it. But I know where it's going to sew at. Okay, so now it's going to sew its leg down. Again, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to flip it over, give it a look and make sure that that's how I want it. Put it back in the machine. and this leg. I'm gonna find where it stops sewing at right here. Make sure it's facing the right way that I want it, and flip it up. And stitch it down. So where it quits sewing at is past that line, the placement line that it's stitched down the previous step. There we go. I'm gonna look at it and make sure it's how I want it, and it's perfect. So we're got to get these parts out of the way. This is the next arm. I want to make sure, let me see where you can see it. I want to make sure the point of the finger up here is facing up so that it's like, hey. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. Well, I'm going to look and make sure where it stops sewing at right here. I'm going to flip it over towards the inside of the body. And I'm going to line it up on that line, just like that. I know you're not going to be able to see this one because my fingers are in the way, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's look at this bunny so far. We've got her arms like we want her, and her legs like we want her. And they're all on the inside of the bunny. Okay, so now we're going to put her ears in. The first one that's going to do is this one. Remember we went to the machine a while ago when we sewed across the bottom of the ear, folded it in thirds, sewed across where it quit sewing at. So we've kind of got a visual. We want the ears to be up like this, so I'm going to flip it down like this, towards the inside of the bunny. Place it where I want it. And I'm going to run this step. Oh. Okay. One more ear. I want the ear like this. So I'm going to flip it down, put it in the placement lines right here. Kind of just making sure the line that I sewn is past this line on the bunny face. And it's going to be at the angle. See, I've got mine kind of crisscrossed, so they open up and they're going to be pointy. So I'm going to do mine right there, I think. Alright, so okay, here we are. I want to show you an up close of what it sewed. So this is the arm. When it opens up, see there's no open spot right here. And the legs, see they sewed across right there. It's caught all that on there. Next arm it's caught. So when it flips back, it's going to look like that. And that's what I was talking about, the ears. See on this bunny how they kind of go out in a V? So what I did was I kind of crisscrossed them. See, so when they open up, they look like bunny ears, but they're crisscrossed. So this one's angled this way, and this one's angled this way. I hope that makes sense. So that when your bunny comes out, the ears are going to be up perky like that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch cameras because I got to have both hands. Alright, so now what we're going to do is get some masking tape. we're going to take our piece HI that we sewed together a while ago on the machine, the back of the head, the back of the body. So that's the next piece we need. This is the last piece that we're going to sew down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure everything's laying flat where it's sewed, and I'm going to tape it because I don't want it to be wiggling and jiggling and get sewn into my stitches. So then I'm going to take the feet, see? Hang on, let me come back to this camera. So what I'm going to do is, see how this foot is hanging past the line here? I'm just kind of going to smush them together a little bit until they come past the lines. I don't want to get it sewed because it's going to sew right on this line again, and I don't want to get the feet caught. So I'm kind of just going to get them inside of this line, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. So I don't want to get my feet caught in this line, so I'm going to take it and tape them down, kind of squish them together a little bit, but I'm still wanting to be flat right here. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm still flat right here, but I've kind of mushed it together until it's past the placement line here. Mush, yes, I mushed it together. Okay, so everything's still flat. Maybe I'll just want to do it this way. Maybe I just want to tuck the toe in. However you want to do it. Yeah, that works better. So if you just tuck the toe in, get you a piece, lay it flat, tuck the little toe in, and tape it down, because you still want it to be flat right here, because it's going to sew across here, and if it's not flat, then your leg will be a little wonky off to the side. I've got my arms taped down. I've got my ears. I'm going to tape them down right here so that when it sews, it's going to be, flat across here. I don't want to get the ears caught in any of these lines, so I'm just going to tape them down like that. Okay, everything's taped down good. Hope you can see that. Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, the IJ piece, and we're going to turn it where the seam is up. So we want the pretty side down. And I'm going to turn my hoop a little sideways so I can see. And what we want to do is we want to go over, make sure we're over all of these placement lines right here. And where this fabric meets, we want to kind of line it up where this fabric meets. So the fabric on here and the fabric on here need to meet. These seams need to be pretty close to lining up. Like that. And I'm going to put a piece of tape. I'm going to tape it down. Okay? And then I'm going to turn it around, and on the other side I'm going to make sure they meet. Take a piece of tape and tape it down. And then I'm going to do that all the way around so that I make sure everything lays nice and smooth all the way around the bunny. I don't care if you use the whole thing of masking tape or pins it. If you want pins, put pins in it. Just want to make sure everything, before you seal it again, make sure everything's laying like you want it. And tape it. Okay, I taped it there. Taped it there. Oh, the wind is picking up outside. Okay, I'm going to tape it here. And one more piece at the bottom. Okay, so this is what it is. I've taped and taped and taped. I've taped everything down. Made everything was laying nice and smooth. I know the camera doesn't show that there's arms and legs and ears in here, but there is like a like a bubble there. Hope you can see that. Yeah. So I've just kind of taped it down. And what it's going to do is it's going to start right here. And it's going to sew around. All the way around. And stop. So it's going to leave your opening right here on the side of the bunny. Let me see if I can get one of these. On the inside part of the bunny, right here, is where it's going to leave the opening. Right there. Between my fingers. And you're going to have to turn the whole bunny through this little piece right here. Okay, so let's head back to the machine. Okay, we're back on the machine, and it's going to start sewing right here, and it's going to leave our opening. So I'm going to have both of my hands ready to stop the machine. Excuse me. Excuse me again. And I'm going to make sure everything's laying flat. If I have to push it down a little bit, make sure where the arms are, they're stuffed. So if I have to push it down a little bit. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my foot on my machine from 1.5 to a 3. Alright, here we go. And we're through sewing. Okay guys, we're through sewing our bunny. And it left our opening right here. So we got our mountain of our feet and our hands and everything right here. And it's sewed along here. I did want to come back on here and show you how to lift your foot if you don't know. This one right here, looks like a sheet of paper, is your settings. So if you click on that, and then it has like your hoop size and things like that. We're going to go to page 3. See right here, it says page 3 of 7. Right here, embroidery, foot, height. And I raised mine to a 3. And then clicked OK. But I'm going to switch it back because I've finished mine. And that's how you do it. Alright, so here we are. We've got everything sewed, stitched. It left our opening right here. So we can take all the tape off and we can remove this from the hoop. Alright, so we're going to trim this thread on the front and the back so we don't break it. Any of these threads you don't want, just give them a cut. Anything your finger's going to get caught on as you're stuffing it, you want to trim. Okay? I left my stabilizer in my bunny for stability. But on the outside I did pull all the tearaway away. Now where it left our opening, which is right from here to here, I'm going to go in at an angle and leave us a good tail. You want a good tail for turning. Then I took my pinking shears, and I only used pinking shears because I'm using linen, and I didn't want it to fray and pull out of my stitches. Get over this seam. That pinking shear didn't seem to have the backbone enough to do that. There we go. And then I'm going to turn and go around my bunny. And I'm going to do about 1/4 inch around. Cutting off the ear pieces that were hanging out. I'm going to turn and go cut off the little arm piece that was hanging out right there. And then we're at the bottom, the feet pieces. And then back up to here, but we're not going to cut this part. We're just going to cut this end right there. Okay? Hope you can see this. I left this part long and big, and I trimmed around her with pinking shears. We can get rid of that. Now we're going to take all of the inside of the bunny and we're going to flip it through this hole. So if you kind of open it up and look, the first thing you see is a little foot in there. But remember, we taped it. So if you can get a hold of the foot and just pull the tape loose very gently. There's one foot loose. And then I'm going to reach through and I'm going to grab the other foot if I can. What's the first thing I grab? Probably an arm. No, I think it might be the foot too. Reached in there, grabbed my foot. Yes, it's another foot. Okay. So now we're going to pull the arms out one by one. Just do the best you can. Free it from its little piece of tape. Now we've got one more arm stuck in here. Right here. Okay, so we've got both of the legs and both of the arms out. So then I'm going to just fold the fabric back and kind of start turning it out until I can see the tips of the ears, which I can see them now. See, the ears are right here. There is a little thread right there that I'm going to cut so that I don't break it. So I can see the ears, so I'm going to grab a hold of them and give them a little pull, and that's going to help me turn the head through the hole. Gently, so you can tear it, so be very gentle. What I tore though was the piece here where I've already cut it. I didn't tear where the hole is. Okay, so be very gentle. take your chopstick, any threads that you need to cut, I would go ahead and trim them up now. Your machine may cut jump threads, mine does not. It's a little bit of an older machine. Okay, so now I'm going to take my chopstick and stick it in this hole, and I'm going to work the headpiece out and make it the shape that I want it. Okay, so there's our bunny face. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the bunny body. Making sure all the corners are out like you want them, nice and sharp and crisp. Be very careful not to push the point of your chopstick through. And there's our bunny turned. How adorable is she? Okay, so now what we're going to do is stuff our bunny. It takes way more stuffing than you think it does, because we're not only stuffing our bunny, we're molding our bunny and shaping it to the shape we want her. So take you a good chunk of it, stick it in the hole, and we're going to start way up by the ears. And you want it stuffed pretty tightly up here so that it holds the ears. You want it to hold the ears up right here. So you want to push that stuffing way up in here really, really good. So I'm going to get another piece. It takes a lot of stuffing, guys. Okay. So I'm going to get my thumb in here and push it up in there, like by the ear part, way up in there, so that the ears will stand up like that. How cute is she? I really love this fabric. So I'm going to put some more in there. So although it left us a little hole, it's still completely doable. The bigger bunny you do, the bigger hole you have. The smaller bunny you do, the smaller hole you have. So all that I've just stuffed in there is in this part of its head. None of this is stuffed. So I want her face to be good, and I'm kind of squishing and molding and getting it shaped the way that I want her face to be shaped. It ain't like we're just shoving stuffing in here. We're molding it the way we want her to look as we go. So get in there. We're good and stuffed in there. So I'm going to continue to stuff mine, and I'll meet you right back here. Alright, so we've got our bunny stuffed, and I've got my ends. I took the tails and I tucked them in, tucked them in the hole, and I've got some wonder clips right there. See how cute they are? The ears with that stabilizer in there, they stand up right by themselves. She looks simply adorable. She's so cute. Okay. Oh, there's a thread. So now we're going to take fabric tack glue, and I'm going to glue up this hole right here. Excuse me. Put a little glue in. Then move up to the next spot. Some more glue in there. If any of it leaks out, just wipe it off and clip it. That takes about 3 minutes to dry, and I'll meet you right back here. Alright guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make the cute little dress. We're going to make her dress right here. So what we need to do that is, I can tell you these measurements because they're not in the pattern. I'm going to take a 6-inch strip. That's what this is, 6-inch strip. And I'm going to cut it off. Alright, now where the fold is at, which is halfway of our fabric, I'm going to cut it in half. So really all we need is one piece, 6 inches wide. Okay, this piece is still here drying. I still have it clipped and drying. Okay, see, it's still drying. Alright, let's go to the iron. Alright guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold over 1/4 inch at the top. This does not have to be perfect because it's going to ruffle and all that. So I'm going to press this down my 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to fold it over another 1/4. Okay, see how it's pressed that down? 1/4 inch at the top. At the bottom, we're going to do a 1/2 inch because this is where our elastic is going to go. Wait, did I do that backwards? No. Okay, so the bottom has the 1/4 inch, and then the top has 1/2 inch. So we're going to fold over a little more than we did a while ago. And then we're going to fold it over again. And that's going to leave our pocket for us to feed the elastic through. Okay, so we've got a 1/2 inch up here. Mine's a little bigger than a 1/2 inch, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we've got a 1/4 inch down here. So let's head to the machine. Alright guys, here we are at the machine, and what we're going to do is open up the folds we just made on both ends. Put them pretty side to pretty side. And fold and sew down the side of them. Then I'm just going to finger press this seam open. I'm just kind of finger pressed open, and then fold it back like we have pressed it. Just like that. Okay, just like that. So now on the 1/4 inch side, I'm gonna start at the seam here, and I'm just gonna sew 1/4 inch around. What I'm doing is sewing a little bit close to this fold, not this one, the inside fold. Maybe 1/8 inch. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is where the fold is at again, I'm going to start, oh, I caught that little bit there. Let me give Jack a workout. Back over here. There we go. So now where the seam is at, we're going to leave this open so we can thread the elastic through. So I'm going to leave a good inch or so open. Again, I'm going to sew about 1/8 inch from this fold, from the inside fold. All the way around and leaving an opening at the seam. Don't want to catch that again. Let's see, I have an opening right here. I can stick my finger through it so that I can feed my elastic through there. Now what I'm going to do is take my lace where the 1/4 inch at the bottom. I'm going to fold this over just a little bit, and I'm going to sew it down. Around it like this. This may seem a little awkward because we're used to everything being on the left side. Now I'm going to sew this down. You can use small lace, large lace. The rest of mine have small lace on them. This one is going to have a little bit longer of a lace. Just keep sewing around until you cross what you've done started. Take my scissors, cut it off, and then see, this is where I started at, so I'm going to continue on a little bit. So that's going to be the bottom of her skirt. It's plumb pretty. That's going to be the bottom of her skirt. And now we're going to go feed the elastic through. So let's go back to the counter. Okay, here we are with the skirt and the elastic. I'm going to take a safety pin. I'm going to pin it through the end of this elastic like this. And then where we left our hole at in the seam, we're just going to take it and feed it through. I've left my elastic long so that I don't have to worry about it coming through, and we'll trim it when we get to the other end. Alright, now I'm back to where the seam was at. I have my elastic, my safety pin. I'm taking my safety pin off. And then you just cinch this up as small as you need it. Which we need it pretty small, because you know elastic stretches. Okay, so you need it cinched up pretty small. And that's going to be her skirt. So now I'm going to take it to the machine, sewing machine, and I'm going to sew back and forth across here a couple of times, and then sew this hole closed. Okay, here we are on the machine, and I'm just going to pull the dress back a little bit, and I'm going to sew across the elastic a couple, 4 or 5 times. Push it back in the hole. And then I'm going to sew this hole closed. And there's your cute little dress made. How adorable is this? Yeah. Alright, let's go put it on the bunny. Okay, here we are. Here's our bunny. We're completely dry here. Now we're going to take our little skirt. I like to put the seam in the back, but you know, whatever. Put your clothes on, baby. There you go. So I'm going to find the seam, which I can't seem to do. There we go. So our seam is in the back, and this is our cute little bunny. She's adorable. I think I like the long lace on her. There we go. So she'll sit up nice and pretty. There we go. So she'll sit up nice and pretty. I think she is adorable. If you want me to do a video on how to do the boy bunny, which is here. How cute is he? Let me know in the comments below and I'll do that for you. I want to thank you for spending a little bit of time in your day with me, and I hope you have a great day and really enjoy these bunnies.